If you're traveling to Almaty, Kazakhstan for the first time, this is the only guide you're gonna need. Hey guys, it's Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome back to my channel. I decided to challenge myself this year and travel to somewhere out of the box that is not Japan or Korea, and Almaty completely surprised me. And if you've never heard of Almaty, well, you're about to add this city to your must-travel destinations bucket list. Why? Well, for starters, the city is located at the foot of snow-capped mountains, meaning that you'll be greeted with this view as you're flying in. And you will continue to see these views when you're walking around the city on a daily basis. It isn't all looks either. Almaty boasts one of the best and cheapest ski resorts you'll ever go to, not to mention also some of the best views that nature has to offer. I mean, come on, just look at all of this. Speaking of cheap, everything from food to accommodation to drinks to things to do here are affordable, making it a perfect destination for budget-conscious travelers. And this video is gonna have something to offer to you, whether you're someone who's already planning a trip to Almaty, good choice by the way, or someone whose curiosity has been piqued based on the views that you've been seeing in this video so far. As in the first part of the video, I'm going to be talking about absolutely everything you need to know and prep before your upcoming trip, before then showing you everything you need to see, eat, try, drink, do in this wonderful city, which would give those who are curious a fantastic preview of what to expect. As always, there are chapters in the description box in case you want to skip around. And so without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with the list of things that you need to be aware of prior to your trip, of which the most important is entry requirements. You'll be glad to know that many countries are allowed to enter Kazakhstan visa-free, as you can see here, with allowable stay ranges ranging from 14 to 90 days. I know most of my subscribers come from the US and Australia, and so if you're from these countries, you're allowed to stay visa-free for up to 30 days. I've included a link to the full list of countries that are allowed to enter Kazakhstan visa-free in my description box for your reference. This will cover most countries. However, if your country is not on that list, you may need to apply for a visa, in which case the visa application link is also included in the description box. There is also, as a side note, no pre-arrival/arrival card that you need to fill in as you're entering Kazakhstan. You simply head to the immigration counter, get your passport chopped, and you're in.
That was probably the easiest immigration line exit ever.
So you won't need that, but what you will need is to have some cash on hand, as a lot of the places I went to during this trip stated that they were cash-only establishments. Kazakhstan uses Kazakhstani tenge. It is generally always better for you to exchange it at your local bank before heading over for your trip, as that avenue will offer more competitive exchange rates. But if you fail to do that, not to worry, there are actually plenty of money exchange counters at the Almaty International Airport arrivals. In terms of apps, you're going to want to download the Yandex Go and the Tugis onto your phone. So the Yandex Go is basically their version of the Uber or Grab, as neither of those work in Kazakhstan. It is pretty straightforward to set up, so I won't walk you through that. I simply linked my Apple Pay as the payment method when I was done, and that was it. The other one is Tugis, which is their version of Google Maps. Now, whilst Google Maps works perfectly in Almaty, I did have a few instances of really friendly locals giving me recommendations, and all the locations they provided were Tugis map links. So it's just best to have that app handy. I would also recommend having your Yandex Go app set up and ready to go, as you would need it to get from the airport to your accommodation. I mean, there are several ways obviously for you to get from the airport to your accommodation, but I just went with a cab, as the cab picked me right outside the entrance and it only cost me 15 bucks to get to my accommodation. But speaking of booking the cab, the one other thing I would recommend you do prior to your trip is to activate an eSIM, so you will have no issues booking your cab the moment you land. Yes, the airport will have free Wi-Fi, but you will lose that as soon as you exit the airport arrivals, so it's best to just have mobile data activated. And if you're a subscriber, you would normally hear me talking about AirAllo at this point. I use it basically everywhere, but funnily enough, Almaty was where my AirAllo connection was a bit patchy. In fact, it was so patchy that I had to switch over to Holofly by the next day, and that worked perfectly for the rest of the trip. But in any case, whilst I would recommend AirAllo everywhere else, for Almaty I would recommend you go with Holofly instead. Speaking about accommodation, let's now talk about where to stay in Almaty. I ended up staying at the Grand Hotel Tiansan, which was super central. I mean, I was honestly within walking distance to all the city attraction spots that I'm about to show you in the next section of this video, and also to plenty of fantastic restaurants and bars. The room itself wasn't too bad at all, but I have to say that the highlight here was their breakfast spread. I mean, if you ever end up staying at this hotel, I recommend getting up early to take full advantage of it. The baked goods in particular was so good. With all the pre-travel stuff out of the way, let's now talk about what you can do in this wonderful city, which can be widely divided into two sections, which is within the city and outside of the city. Let's start with the city. The crown jewel, so to speak, would be the Shymbulak Ski Resort, which is about a 40-minute drive from the city center. Oh, and I basically used Yandex Go to go everywhere. Each ride cost me around $2 to $5, and by the way, $5 is very much considered to be on the higher end. You will rarely get to that level. This place is basically heaven if you ski, as you can get a daily ski pass here from just under $11 US, and the hotels here also boast some of the most stunning views in the world. A perfect choice if you plan to ski over a couple of days. But even if you're not into skiing, you should still come here and take the cable car all the way up, as you will get to see the mountains in all its majesticness. I mean, come on. Is this view not totally worth it? Another spot that you definitely want to visit is the Green Bazaar, Almaty's bustling central market, and a must visit for a taste of local life. There is truly no more authentic local experience than this, in my opinion, as you walk through and mingle with the locals, selling fresh produce, meats, spices, and traditional Kazakh foods. If you're looking for souvenirs, you'll also find a great selection of local textiles and handmade goods. Apart from the bazaar, you also want to drop by the park for the 28 Panfilov Guardsmen, which is a must-see historic spot while you're in town. It was built back in the 1870s to honor the 28 soldiers of the 316 Rifle Division who defended Moscow during World War II. The park features the striking Memorial of Glory and the Ascension Cathedral, which is another spot worth adding to your list. Also known as the Zenkov Cathedral, it will wow you with its amazing architecture, which by the way was built back in 1907 without any nails. Also, did you know that this is the tallest wooden building in the world? You will feel like you've stepped into one of the wonderful churches in Europe. It is definitely a spot I recommend seeing. The next spot on this list is a must visit if you want a fantastic aerial view of the city. Kok-Tobe, which means Blue Hill, is a popular hilltop destination offering panoramic views of the city and also the surrounding Tian Shan Mountains. It stands at about 1,100 meters above sea level, and you can usually take a cable car up here. However, that cable car was not working when I was there, and so I took a cab instead. If you want to learn more about the history of Almaty, the Republic Square is a must visit. Also known as the Independence Square, it is the largest and most significant public square in Almaty. It was established back in the 1980s during the Soviet era and has been the site to numerous political and cultural events, including the declaration of Kazakhstan's independence in 1991. No trip to any country is complete, however, until you've tried out some of the local cuisine. I went to Navat, which is a popular Almaty restaurant chain. The menu offers a wide range of authentic dishes. I tried the besh bamak, which is like a thick noodle soup, a lagman, which are these cute little fried dough balls, and palau, which I feel is quite similar to biryani. Everything was delicious, but I will say this, you have to be prepared to try horse meat, as it is highly popular here. And for me, the horse meat was just a tad too gamey. However, I will say once you get over that hurdle, you will really come to appreciate the variety of spices that they use in their food. But if you're a subscriber, you know that I can never say no to a good secret bar. And I have to say that the bar I'm about to show you in this next section is the final boss to all secret bars. You see, you will not be able to find them on Google Maps no matter how hard you try. The only way that you can get into the Yellow Door bar is by sending them a DM on their Instagram, and you will only be given a reservation if you are deemed worthy. Yellow Door is Almaty's original speakeasy bar and also the oldest cocktail bar in Southeast Asia. And it is hidden within a building somewhere in the city center. You will get to choose from an eclectic selection of cocktails that incorporate local ingredients. One of my favorites here, for example, was the Rahat Mule, which was an orange chocolate vodka served with a sprinkle of curd, aka salted cheese, around the rim of the glass, and that was delicious. This was one of the favorite places I went to during this trip, and I would totally go back again if I were to return to the city. Highly recommend. Now, as my time was pretty tight this trip, I did most of the locations mentioned here as a one-day city tour, but you can honestly do all of these locations on your own without a tour guide, as these locations are all very easily accessible via cab. If you are interested to do the tour, I'm going to drop the tour link in my description box for your reference. What I would, however, recommend you to do tours for would be for the locations that are outside of the city, as all of them are at least a few hours drive away. I signed up for this one via Get Your Guide, and and these were all the stops we made. The first stop was the Charyn Canyon National Park, located about 200 kilometers east of Almaty. It is one of Kazakhstan's most stunning natural wonders and is often compared to the Grand Canyon. I'm sure you can see why. It heavily features dramatic red rock formations carved by the Charyn River over millions of years. We then headed to the Kolsai Lakes. Now there are actually 3 lakes, the lower, middle and upper Kolsai. These lakes have to be seen to be believed. They are renowned for their crystal clear waters surrounded by dense spruce forests and dramatic mountain landscapes. Honestly, seeing them close up will blow you away. This is also, by the way, where I rode a horse for the first time to go up the mountains, and I have to say that was a one-of-a-kind experience. This is not a painting, it is the next stop of the tour at Kaindy Lakes, a large crystal blue body of water surrounded by a scenic forest that was formed in 1911 after an earthquake. I was honestly so tired by this stage of the tour, as we have been out and about since 5 AM. But man, was this view worth every effort. Again, if you're interested to do exactly the same tour that I did, I've dropped the link to this tour in my description box for your reference. After spending an entire day exploring all these places outside of Almaty city, I honestly didn't really want to venture too far from my hotel, but quite a few locals recommended this particular bar, and thankfully it was only a 5-minute walk from where I was, and so I went to check it out. So French 42 is a stylish cocktail bar that was inspired by the movie Casablanca, which is evident from the moment you walk in, and this is, by the way, the bar that was voted Bar of the Year by the Where to Eat Kazakhstan publication. They are renowned for their extensive gin collection. I tried out their flagship French 42 cocktail, and honestly it was pretty good. I also wanted to add that I only had 2 full days in Almaty. However, if I had another day, I would have either liked to have done the great Almaty Lake, or would have loved to drop by the Huns Ethno village to really immerse myself in their local traditions. To be completely honest, I was a little bit apprehensive about planning this trip. It's so far out of my comfort zone, and I was slightly concerned about things such as language barriers, safety, and what have you. But Almaty truly has become a highlight for me this year as far as out-of-the-box travel destinations go. I am absolutely blown away by the stunning nature spots here, the extremely friendly locals, and also the rich history. And honestly, given that the hotel, food, drinks, getting around attraction spots are all quite affordable, what have you got to lose by visiting Almaty, Kazakhstan? I personally already want to go back, and next time I'm also going to do Astana and Uzbekistan. If this video has made you want to start booking that trip to Almaty, you may find my free first-timers travel cheat sheet to Almaty containing all the information presented here, as well as all the relevant booking links and discount codes to be helpful. I've placed the download link to this free PDF in my description box in case you want to get your hands on it. I do hope that you found value in this video, and if you have, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things that you know are going to appease those holy YouTube algorithm gods, but really much more importantly will just make my day as a content creator. In particular, if you do have a comment for me, please do leave me a comment, as I do love hearing from you. And if you got to this point of the video, thank you so much for watching. I know I say this every single week, but that's because I genuinely mean it when I say I appreciate it. I do hope that you have a fantastic day ahead, or that you've already had a good day. As always, I will see you real soon in the next video. Ciao!